All right, job seekers and those hoping to advance your career, leave these jobs off your resume. That is the topic for today. Now, you know that our team every year puts out a new resume template that we make available for free to everyone. And in that video, we do talk a little bit about this, but I want to go more in depth because it's actually one of the questions we get the most when people are trying to decide how to do their resume. If you're looking for the full resume template, that is on, of course, our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that now. Ring that bell for notifications. It'll tell you when all the new videos come out. But what jobs do you leave on and what jobs do you leave off? Now, some people say, oh, if it's over 10 years old, take that job off your resume. No, I'm going to tell you absolutely not. Do not just blanket do that. There is no one rule that's going to fit for every single job seeker or every person doing a resume to advance their career. So let's talk about the parameters in general of what you should do so you'll know which ones to apply to you. So, if you take off just 10 years, more than 10 years, you risk really high taking off experience that I, as a recruiter and companies, are going to want to know about you. Remember, the recruiting system has changed drastically and everything is keyword driven. Before most times you get to a hiring manager or you get to an HR person, you have to have made it through some type of applicant tracking system. And those systems they're stupid, right? All they do is say, okay, they told me they're looking for a mechanical engineer with SolidWorks. I'm going to read every bit of data on this resume and see if that's there. If you have taken off mechanical engineering earlier on in your career and don't include it, you're going to fall out of the search, right? So, more data and more keywords on a resume are what is important. But then you also have to say, this applicant tracking system is not going to be the person or the thing that hires me. It's going to be a person. So your resume has to be angled towards a person and be readable. And that's where we get into the fact of you don't want a 9-page resume, right? You have to, if you have to take off some jobs, you want to do it so it looks good for that person, but not so the applicant tracking system misses you. So here's the rule of thumb when you're looking at taking jobs off your resume. Is there anything within that job that is a key word that I do not have in another job? Now, it's not just, is it a junior level? Because perhaps, like, let's say in HR, in my very first job, I worked doing some compensation that I didn't do in my third, fourth, or fifth job. I might want to include that job still on my resume so I can highlight that experience in compensation. Or let's say that earlier on, I worked in the healthcare industry. I may want to include that job and that company on my resume still because I want that showing that industry experience for healthcare. So if you have something in that earlier experience that is valuable, you don't necessarily want to take it off. Now, what kind of jobs can you take off and should you leave off your resume? If it's something that does not apply, my first job when I turned 15, I got my very first job. I worked at McDonald's and I was so excited to have that job. That job has nothing to do with anything that I do now, right? That is something that's easy for me to remove off my resume because it doesn't add anything. There's nothing that you look back at that and say, oh, well, that's going to make her a better, HR person today. It doesn't, right? I'm way past or beyond that. So if you had those first jobs that didn't add something special, you can pull them off. Now, again, be careful. Let's say you worked as an engineering intern or an HR intern really early on with a company that was in an industry different than your future ones. That's going to be something you may still want to keep. So the other thing about your resume is, remember, it is not a legal document. A resume is just a document that highlights the best of you and your work history. So when I say take off jobs that don't apply, Can you take off a job in the middle of your resume that didn't apply to your career path? An example I'll give you for this is during COVID, during the pandemic. Did you have 6 months where you worked as an Amazon associate or you worked at a restaurant just to have a survival job to pay the bills during a very difficult time? You don't necessarily have to include that on your resume. In fact, sometimes it can be beneficial to take it off because it gives this disruption in your resume. So, if you have one of those and you think it's not adding value, how can you remove it without having a gap, right? There's a couple ways to do that. The first way is you do not have to put months on your resume. You can just do years. So let's say you had a job from, January 2004 till, August of 2015. You can pull off those months and just put 2004 to 2015. And the same is true for like COVID times, where if you had a job that ended in 2020, that you got laid off, and then part of 2020, you took another job that was just a survival job until you moved into your job you're doing now. If you pull off the months and it just shows the years, it is going to hide that role. If you feel like it's a gap that's going over years and it's not going to hide, you can, instead of a job, put a thing on your resume that says during pandemic, worked on the following skills, worked a survival job, whatever in there. And we show you how to do that on our 2022 resume template. You can do that to show that as opposed to just listing out the full job. Now, the other thing I would also tell you, which I'm seeing a lot up here on resumes, I don't know if somebody's giving bad advice on this, and this is why I'm seeing this so much, is I'm seeing people putting that they have like a volunteer job or their own business where they sell things on Etsy. So they're working their full-time job in HR and then they're selling things on Amazon or Etsy or whatever. I would recommend you pull those other jobs off of your resume if they're not in alignment with the career goal you're trying to get. If I am an HR person and that's the next role that I'm looking for, the stuff that you do at Etsy, Amazon, your other grass cutting business, I don't care, whatever it is, that other job and business is just being a distraction to what your career path is. So in that case, those jobs should be taken off. Now, if it's something that you're very proud of and you want to still have there can be other places that you can put that information, but like at the bottom of your resume or something like that. But if it doesn't apply, why are you including it? So let me summarize this sum to make sure we're on the same page. If it is something that does not apply to what you're doing or what your career goal is, remove it off as long as you don't lose any keywords, any industry terms, or anything that's a direct connection to the role that you're trying to get. And then the other thing is if it's something superfluous that is an additional job that's offside your career, you don't want to list that either. All right, I hope this was helpful. Please feel free, if you have questions, put them down below. We do take time to look at each and every one, and we'll get back with you as quick as we can to try and answer all of your job search and career questions. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.